Hey, what's up? It's Fuel Your Life Friday. Let's go. Welcome back, my Friday friends. This was the first full week my kids were back at school, and not just back to school, but starting a new-to-them school in a new state. Kids are resilient with adjusting and with changes. Adults, well, for the most part, we could do better. This week has been an odd one, though. There's been a lot going on astrologically, including last Sunday's full blue moon, so I've known the energy to be just a little chaotic in general, but this entire week has just felt off. I was looking forward to a super busy week full of podcast calls. My calendar was booked full, and it was the first time I was hopping on the mic without my kids at home in the last 12 weeks, so I felt super in my zone. Until I was no longer in my zone. I was hit with mass cancellations for Life Mastery conversations, both for conversations that were scheduled for this week and for later dates. There were 6 in total, which may not feel big, but that's essentially 6 weeks of planned content that's no longer there. I had this WTF moment on Wednesday after my podcast call logged on for our call just to cancel while on it because he was still on a client call that was going over. My WTF moment wasn't because he canceled, but that he was my 6th cancellation. I immediately called my friend and mentor Sherelle Turner to ask, is it the energy? She told me, it might be the energy, but it might be something else. I got a little deep, thinking that maybe these weren't aligned guests or maybe they had heard episodes and didn't like me or the show. I mean, it's very easy to make this type of thing personal. Sherelle had me look at it from another perspective, which is a perspective that I want to share with you today because whenever I have an aha life moment, they tend to resonate with others in their lives as well. Sherelle said, maybe it's not the energy. Maybe the universe needed to clear space for something else to come in. Clearing space. I hadn't thought of that. Clearing space can look like many things. Perhaps it's for a more aligned guest to come in, or perhaps my own energy needed to be preserved so that I could be prepared for an unknown life event or work task. Sherelle reminded me that it doesn't really matter what it's for or is for. The important thing to focus on is that when one thing is released or taken off our calendar, it's so that we can hold space for something new to come in. We don't always get to dictate how life goes. But when we surrender to the flow and detach our emotions from the facts, it allows us to see the space as a blessing and not a curse. I'm still unsure why space needed to be cleared for me, but it did allow me to work on some other things that needed my attention and gave me time to journal, which I've neglected recently. It felt good for my soul, and if that's all it was for, then that's fine by me. So next time something you've been looking forward to gets canceled, or maybe you have a week like mine where seemingly everything gets canceled, take a step back and acknowledge that space is being cleared for a reason, even if that reason isn't clear yet. If you enjoyed today's episode, share it with a friend, and be sure to give the podcast a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is that you tune in and turn it up. I'm back on Wednesday for another Life Mastery conversation, but until then, remember, every level of life is an opportunity to grow. Be well, my friend.